who is the right person for the right job? I don't think Twitter actually cares. In fact, the new Jeopardy host, Mike Richards, is being savaged online for the original sin of his whiteness and being the best person for the job. I don't think you need to look far in terms of mainstream television or cable news or things like that to see that there is a huge push for diversity. And some might call it an overcorrection. Look, for years, I don't think TV networks and television shows did enough to be a better representation of our society. But now we've gone so far the other way that you would think, like, on every show that like 30% of the population is in the LGBTQ community, because, you know, there's this set of boxes that every show has to check. And it's gotten so formulaic that you can just guess at what the new cast of a new show, you know, a 5-person show is going to have 3 minorities, 1 person who's gay, and like the white male who's the butt of all the jokes. Boom, done, print it. And again, that's just, they've gone too far the other way. But if you've been following since the passing of Alex Trebek, Jeopardy has been working hard to find a different host. Now, Mike Richards carries with him some baggage, which I will discuss, and that should be the reason people are mad or think he's not a good fit, but that's not the reason. Twitter, of course, angry about his whiteness. Also, you know, I noticed that one of my Subscribe Star backers has a business, a little Etsy business, speaking of, and I shot a little spot for him. Check this out. Go support him if you want to support one of your fellow viewers. Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to one of my Subscribe Star backers. They actually have an Etsy store where they have they sell decks of cards. This is actually the Stars and Stripes Freedom deck. It's a classic poker deck designed with iconic symbols and figures of American culture. Remember, poker cards just aren't for gambling or casual play. They can be used as an education tool. Heck, I use a poker deck when I bowl. With games like 21 or 31, kids can build skills, mental arithmetic. Texas Hold'em Poker, a classic game, can also be used to teach kids how to deal with probabilities and uncertainties along with evaluation of certain situations. I'm going to give them a link. I appreciate their support, and I really like the design of these cards. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to help one of your fellow viewers and pick up a nice deck of cards. Everyone needs a deck of cards, right? Why not pick one up from one of your fellow viewers? Now, the articles that are coming out, of course, Jeopardy makes a great choice for hosts, but not the right choice. Mike Richards is reportedly Jeopardy's next host. He'll do a great job on the show, but they could have dreamed bigger. Translation, wrong skin color. In a vacuum, Mike Richards is the right choice to replace Alex Trebek. That should be the end of the article, right? That should be the end of it. The issue is we don't live in a vacuum. The choice of Richards brings with it some unnecessary baggage to the TV institution that has successfully operated without it for years. Richards did have a controversial tenure at his former job as producer on The Price is Right when model Brandy Cochran ended up winning a discrimination suit against him for several $1 million. And I think that was probably the right choice at the time. There's also some really just bad behavior that was outlined in that suit, like him bursting into the dressing room while she was topless and all sorts of other stuff that is just bizarre, like stuff that wouldn't happen in the real world but happens in Hollywood all the time. There's also the fact that the choice of the Jeopardy executive producer throws some cold water on the notion that it was ever really an open audition. Mike Richards was involved in the hosting search, and it would appear that he chose himself. Jeopardy GOAT contestant James Holzhauer sums up the conflict of interest with one perfect WWE tweet, and this is, of course, the meme of him saying, "It was me all along." I mean, yeah, I do think it's funny that, like, after careful consideration, I've chosen me as the appropriate successor to Alex Trebek. I think the best person for the job is, in fact, me. I mean, I do think that's funny, but again, that's not what people are really pointing out. It's possible the folks at Jeopardy thought Richards' superb performance would later arrest any claims that it was a rigged audition. The issue is that while Richards was excellent, the whole guest hosting experience revealed something quite surprising about the Jeopardy host. It actually didn't appear to be that hard. Alex Trebek will forever be synonymous with Jeopardy and a major part of television history. No one can approach him in terms of gravitas, experience, and dedication to the wonderful game. Based on this Jeopardy guest hosting experiment, however, plenty of other hosts can still do right by the game without reaching Trebekian levels. Of the 15 guest hosts thus far, only 5 were noticeably bad for the role. People like George Stephanopoulos, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, Bill Whitaker all did a fine job, as did Jeopardy vets like Ken Jennings, Buzzy Cohen, and even the wildcard choices like Aaron Rodgers and Mayim Riley. Rylick, I think that's misspelled, isn't it? Bielek, but Biliak, whatever. Blossom performed admirably. Richards may have been the best of the bunch, but he wasn't the only option. So again, an entire article writing about how he was the best choice, but I'm still mad. Jeopardy can do better than Mike Richards. Okay, you had 15 contestants for the job come in, and every major media article is pointing out that he performed the best of those 15. But you see, replacing a long-term middle-aged white guy with another middle-aged white guy isn't exactly a bold choice. So what? Why is it that they have to not be white? White individuals are 70% of this country? I don't know the exact number, but the overwhelming majority. So why are we acting like they aren't allowed to have television roles, or that their inherent position there must be replaced? It's sick, honestly. It makes you feel this weird way that it makes you say things that aren't comfortable, what's the problem with being white? I don't understand. This is again an overcorrection. Now, Mike Richards, again, I think if you have a problem with him because of his previous treatment of other employees, that's a reasonable problem to have. But that doesn't seem to be the case here on Twitter. You could see this Mike Richards dude probably getting Jeopardy gig is a great example of when a company goes through the motions of interviewing diverse candidates and then just promotes a white person internally like they were planning to do all along. Again, no evidence of that. Would you have brought up 15 different contestants if that's all you were going to end up doing anyway? I suppose you have the Rooney Rule in the NFL, which is can lead to performative interviews, but you have 15 of them. I don't know. Again, the complaint is not that he's not the right person. It's that he's white. This is sick. I mean, I don't know how you describe this as anything but racist. Finally, the underwhelming white guy gets a chance. Jeopardy under fire for looking to hire the worst kind of host to replace Alex Trebek, a white male. What? If you look at the overwhelming majority of cast in new television shows, they're extraordinarily diverse. Why does it every single time? It's imagine writing that, that about, I don't know, let's take sports commentators, ESPN. Overwhelmingly, in terms of commentators, minorities, okay? Nothing wrong with that, but it's an obvious choice by ESPN. So let's say, okay, you have Stephen A. Smith, and then you have the other woman who's very popular who did the NBA Finals. I can't think of her name. She's allegedly really popular. I don't know. You have Max Kellerman, the token white guy who's a overwhelmingly strong leftist woke idiot. Kendrick Perkins, Jalen Rose, right? So now if they had hired yet another black or minority athlete or minority person to fill another speaking role, would people be saying, oh, God, another black person on ESPN? No, of course not, because that's insane. You want the best person for the job regardless of their skin color. We could have had LeVar on Jeopardy, but instead we get this white dude who's the executive producer. Gross. Yeah, I'm sure you're a titan of intellect. You just tune into Jeopardy every single day. And by the way, LeVar Burton blew it. He was not very good. If you watched him on Jeopardy, he was very nervous and he felt like it was forcing it. I didn't think he was very good as a host. Might be a fine man in general, but he just wasn't the right fit. So what they want is to give it to LeVar Burton just because he's black. This is craziness. Jeopardy was my dad's show. We'd watch it together, and he'd be calling out the answers. When I watched LeVar host it, I was sad. Sad my dad wasn't wasn't watching with me. If they hire that white predator, I hope it gets canceled. Okay. I'd be willing to bet that the overwhelming majority of these people don't actually watch Jeopardy either. And just thousands of tweets worried about the guy's race. Again, if you have concerns about, the suit that is attached to his name, I'll listen to that. Jeopardy's so white. Elevating a generic white dude insider when dozens of candidates are more appealing. Jeopardy is now officially a late night talk show. I guess if you look at the late night talk shows, they're all hosted by boring generic white dudes. That's actually true. I think Stephen Colbert should probably give up his role to a person of color. I think that'd be the best for the Tonight Show. I guess you have what's his name, Trevor Noah, I guess, but he's not on a major network. So yeah, the white guy wins again, and this is inherently a problem, I guess, even though everyone freely admits the guy was the best for the job. I don't care. I was cheering for LeVar. I like him. I think even though he's had some sketchy takes, I grew up watching the guy from Reading Rainbow to Star Trek. Always a fan of LeVar Burton. I was rooting for him. He just wasn't very good. Now, he did only get a week when other people got 2 weeks. I think because of the way the Olympics lined up or something. So LeVar, maybe got submarine there and needed a little more time to get comfortable. But yeah, that's Twitter for you. Got to be mad about something. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.